Hey Scott, since Maurice's, when he was in California a couple weeks ago, has he been practicing with you mostly, and is his schedule pretty clear until for most of the rest of spring?
Yeah, I've said this before, I say the same thing. We're going to try to keep him on as close to schedule as normal as we possibly can. He had a full day of practice today. He's been limited. He has bigger fish to fry right now than worrying about this, but we want to keep him on a schedule. So he's been a part of practice, not a full participant in practice, but when he's been out there, he's been doing a good job.
Scott, how do you feel about how the interior of that O-line is shaping up halfway through the spring?
Yeah, we're getting better everywhere, and it's fun to watch. Feel really good about the two tackles we have. Obviously, they come back with a lot of experience and have gotten better. We got to make sure and solidify the middle of that O-line. Bo Wilson stepped in and did a great job last year. We got a center and a guard to replace. I think there's been some good and some bad. It's still working itself out, but there's been a lot of guys doing some good things. Will Farniak's been doing some good things. Trent Hickson's been really impressive in spring ball, and a bunch of other guys. But that competition's ongoing, and we'll see where we are at the end of spring.
Are you getting some consistency at the wide receiver spot that you're looking for?
We're starting to see more consistency. If I had to just pick a couple guys, Andre Hunt's really stepped it up the last few practices. Woody stepped it up the last few practices. Those guys need to keep going. We got a bunch of guys that are capable of making the plays. We just have to do it consistently. It's gotten better, but we still have ways to go.
What things have you seen this year to spring that maybe are similar or different to what you saw at UCF in that second year in terms of figuring things out and kind of turning the corners for
You know, I said this a bunch. This is our second time as a staff trying to remold a program. First years were very similar. We lost a bunch of close games. We did a lot of little things wrong that got ourselves beat. Had some issues, had some holes. I wouldn't say it got better in our last job until fall of year 2. I see a similar track right now. I see vast improvement from one spring ball to the next. We're still not complete. We still got a ways to go. But the majority of the real severe improvement that happened down there happened second fall camp. And I'm thrilled with where we are right now in spring. Obviously, we've got a whole new wave of new guys coming in this summer and this fall that we're looking forward to. That'll help our depth and help some other issues. But, you know, we got a long ways still to go. As much improvement as we made, we got a long way to go, and we need that same kind of springboard improvement in fall camp.
Last time we talked to you, Wandale was held out. Is the hamstring back where it needs to be, you think?
Yeah, he's been full this week. I wouldn't say he's 100% yet, but he's still looking pretty good at 80% or whatever he is.
From what you can tell, how is he acclimating to college life?
I got to give compliments to all these early enrollees. We got a bunch of them here, new kids, Garrett Nelson and Nick Henrich and Jamie and Wandale and all these guys that are here new. Not only are they doing well on the football field, they're doing well in school. They're good members of the team. They're around our office all the time because they love football. They're the type of guys we want. And if that's any indication of the type of class we recruited, then I think we're going to be really happy with last year's signing class.
Has Darian Daniels been as advertised on the field so far?
I'll tell you, Darian's making plays on the field, but that's not the most impressive part of Darian. It would be really hard for somebody to change teams, come into a new college program and be a leader immediately, but that's what he's done. He's brought a spark to that D-line, I think a sense of accountability to the D-line and to the whole defense. He's going to be a real asset for us, and I'm not just talking about on the field. He's going to help us on the field and off.
What are one or two of the biggest differences that you would point to with your defense now compared to maybe a year ago or even fall camp last year that you see?
I guess I'd relate it to this. I was a quarterback in college, and somebody thought I should be a DB in the NFL. My first year, I had no idea what I was doing. My second year, I probably had no idea what I was doing. Once you figure it out, you can just play faster. You can let everything go and just attack the ball and go try to make plays. And I see our whole defense doing that. You know, they were learning a scheme. It takes a long time to really feel comfortable in it. But now that the guys know their assignments, I just see the entire defense playing faster with more intensity and getting to the ball faster.
Scott, you're basically halfway through spring ball. What are you going to focus on these last 2.5 weeks up until the spring game?
Just continued improvement. And I think what really needs to continue to improve is little details. We're not having the bust of assignments anymore. We're not having guys not knowing where to go, guys not recognizing signals. Now it's just the little things that make the defense work, or the little things that make the play work on offense. And that'll keep coming. What I'm impressed about is last year we had a real drop-off in the middle of spring ball, and that's common. You get excited for spring ball, you're going to make your mark, and you get about 6 or 7 practices in, and there's kind of a lull. I haven't seen that from this team. Even coming back from spring break, I was worried about that, and the team came back with energy and had great practices this week off the heels of spring break. We got to keep moving forward. So we don't have time to have some practices that are letdowns and just get through practice days. We got to keep grinding and keep pushing forward.
Scott, were you happy with the way the guys came back then? Did keep taking care of their bodies over?
I wasn't just happy, I was thrilled with the way the guys came back. They handled spring break. There's 100 things that could happen on spring break. We all know that. They came back ready to practice. They had a captain's deal on Sunday to get themselves back in shape and ready for Monday practice. And we had an intense fast practice on Monday and looked like they hadn't left and missed a step. That's a sign of a mature team that's starting to make decisions based on what's best for the team instead of what's best for them.
Starting April 1, you guys can start having official visits. I know that you didn't really have an opportunity to do that last year. What maybe is your game plan this year with how you can use those?
Yeah, we have a bunch of official visits we're going to be able to use. I think over 10 official visits still left. Last year we were out of them, so we didn't have an opportunity to bring very many kids in the spring. We're going to try to use those official visits if we need to for kids that are going to be committed in the summer. If we have a shot at them, we want to get them here. Any kid that's decision is later on, I'd rather have them here for a game day and let them experience what that's all about. But we'll be selective with that and try to get the right guys on campus in the spring.
Do you try to use them for the spring game? Because that is a game day in itself.
Yeah, if we can do it on spring game, we will. Every kid's schedule is different based on what sports they're in, and SATs and ACTs and other things. And it's kind of, each case is unique, but we'll get as many here for the spring game as we can.
With the redshirt setup now, do you have a true number 2 quarterback, or is it situational, and how would you assess that group behind it?
Yeah, you know, quarterback's the same as every other position right now. I think it's pretty clear who our number 1 guy is, but it's an ongoing competition at every position. Noah Vedra's been doing a really good job. Highlight that. We're glad to have him clear and eligible. But the other guy's been doing really well too. So that's a competition that'll keep going through fall camp.
I know you really like the leadership of the university when you were hired here. Obviously, Hank announced that he's moving on in the summer. What's kind of your reaction to that?
In my experience, there's a lot of leaders and there's very few really good leaders. I can't say enough about Hank Bounds. I think he's a good man and he's one of the best leaders that I've been around. We're going to miss him, but I'm happy for him and wish him the best. We have enough other good leaders around here that I know we'll be fine. There's been leadership changes in the athletic department at this university for a long time. I think the people making those decisions are the right people, and I'm confident where everything's going.
Coach, I know you just kind of alluded to it, but how close do you think are your guys to having a fully kind of solidified position just kind of across the board in terms of where they're at on the depth chart, so to speak?
Yeah, we don't have a depth chart right now. We're running 1s, 2s, and 3s, but everything's wide open. There's obviously some guys at practice that are really good and are going to be our guys, but I don't want them to sit back on that either. So competition's going to stay open, and we won't even make a depth chart until a week before the first game.
Scott, do you like the competitiveness with the goal line drill, especially when you're going one-on-ones, and how can that benefit the team?
One-on-one up with O-line, D-line?
Yeah, on the goal line.
Listen, guys that I want in this program are guys that love to compete. We didn't have enough of that when our staff got here. We had competition today. It was offense versus defense. It was our second time doing it. Every play mattered. Every rep mattered. We were keeping score. whether it's fair or not, and whether a lot of people like it or not, there's a scoreboard in life, in football, and everything. We shouldn't run from that. We should embrace that. And I want guys that are at their best when the chips are down and we need to compete. It was really close today. Right at the end, the defense picked it up and competed better than the offense, and the defense won the day. But I see more guys that are the type of guys we want, that are ready to compete no matter what, and excited for those opportunities, and they want to make the play when it matters.
All right.